Dear students, welcome to today's lecture on Python programming. In our earlier session, we have discussed about the types of number systems available, and also we have gone through how to convert one number system into another number system with the help of examples. Today, we'll continue the topic of strings. In our strings and data encryption lecture, we discussed about the fundamentals of strings, how the strings are represented in memory, and also we focused on a few basic operations that can be performed on strings in that class. Today, we will extend the topic of strings by discussing the string manipulation methods available in Python, and we will see some examples also to understand how the methods works on strings. Okay, right. Let us start our today's lesson. I just want to recap what is a string. We know that string is a collection of characters that are stored in memory as a single object. And also we know that strings are immutable, which means once they are created, we cannot modify the contents of strings by using the member access operators directly. Okay, so because they are immutable, only a few set of operations are allowed on string objects. Okay, today we will see what are those valid operations allowed on strings, and the methods and their syntaxes with the help of examples. Let us start with the first one. The first operation which is useful for us is counting the words in a given sentence, because text processing involves many operations on strings. So you should understand how to perform those operations on text, and then based on the problem scenario that you are going to solve, use those functions and methods available in Python accordingly. So have a look at this first example. Just want to count the number of words in a given single sentence, and also I want to find out the average word length in each of those sentences. Okay, so for that I'm just using the input function to ask the user to enter a sentence. Once the user enters the sentence, I'll keep it inside this variable sentence. Then there is a function called as split. I will explain about these functions later. I'm just explaining a simple example here to understand the importance of text processing. Okay, so we will call this split method on this string object by using this syntax sentence dot split, which returns all the words of the sentence. Okay, we know that words are separated with some white spaces. So the split function takes those white spaces into consideration and returns all those words separated by white spaces as a collection of words, that is a list of words. Okay, which will be stored into this variable list of words. So I did two things here. One is read a sentence from the user and then split the words from the sentence into a list, right? And then I'm just printing the message. There are the number of words it will print, length of list of words will print the number of words, followed by a string words. Okay, so overall, this particular print statement prints the message. There are n words, assuming that n is the number of words in the corresponding sentence. Okay. Now, because I want to find out the average word length, I will use another variable sum, which is initialized to 0. Then use a for loop to calculate that average word length. It is very simple. We'll calculate the length of each word in the sentence. Then we will find out the average by using the sum of all the lengths by total number of words in the sentence. Okay. So this for loop will calculate the sum of the lengths of all words in the sentence, and then this operation sum by len of list of words will return the average, This will calculate the average word length and displays it with the print statement. So the message you are going to get is the average word length is comma the value that is calculated here. Okay. So this is a simple example that shows you the importance of text processing in real world applications. Okay. So we are going to develop similar kind of programs after learning all the valid methods and operations available on strings. Okay. Now, before we move on to the list of methods available on strings, let us understand the difference between method and function. Okay, so we have already seen some functions which takes some arguments and process the arguments, producing some results. Okay, function is always called directly without using any object name. Okay, and we will pass the arguments for processing, and the function takes those arguments, processes them, and produces the output. Whereas methods are called always on objects. Okay, that means the general syntax of calling a method is always going to be object name dot method name, and then any number of arguments if the method requires any mandatory arguments to be submitted. Okay, so look at this syntax. Method always uses this syntax, which requires an object name dot method name, whereas a function will not have an object name while calling it. We will simply call that function by just using the name of the function and then submitting the arguments to the function. Okay, I hope you understood the difference between method and function now. Method is always called on objects, whereas function is directly called. Okay, right. Now, we have already seen some functions that can be applied on string objects in our earlier sessions. For example, this len of list of words. Len is a function which is called on string objects. Okay, whereas look at this sentence dot split. This is a method. Split is a method. Okay, because it is called on object, and function is directly called. So you can look into this particular example. This is a function because function is directly called, and maybe arguments are going to be objects. Okay. Right. So you should not confuse between method and function, because in examination also the question may be explain the functions available or explain the methods available. If you confuse, then you might write functions for methods or methods for functions. So please remember what are the methods available on strings for manipulation purpose, and also what are the functions available that can be applied on strings. Okay, right. So moving on to the available string manipulation functions. This particular slide is very, very important in your examination point of view also. You need to remember all these names, which will be the set of operations or set of methods available on string objects. If you look at the syntax of all these methods, they are all called as string object dot method name. Okay, string object dot method name, and so on. Let us understand one method at a time. Focus on each of these with examples also. The first one is s dot center of width. Assume that s is an object created in the Python program, and based on this object you are calling this method. Okay, so s is already created. Assume like that s is already created. Now you are calling this function, that is method, on the string object yes. S dot center of width. This means that you center the string into a specified width. Okay, for example, say I have a string something like s is equal to, I have created like this, s is equal to high. Okay, so this is my string created in a Python program. Now, while displaying, I want to print this string with a specified width because the length of this particular string is 2. I want to print it with a width, for example, say 8 characters. Then what I will do is I will call the function center, s dot center, okay, of 8. I will specify. Then what will happen is while displaying this particular string, what happens is high is displayed as a 8 character string, okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this particular string is centered, that is at the middle of the corresponding positions. High gets displayed here. Okay, so like that it will display. If the width we are mentioning is not greater than the original string length, then the original string will be displayed as it is. Okay, so what you need to observe is the string is center aligned for the corresponding width you specify. Okay, so that is how it works. So I'll show you this example with the IDLE now by running a simple code. Let me open the IDLE. Check how this center method works. So I'm creating a string here. S is equal to high. Then S dot center of 8. You can see that it is displayed at the middle of the specified width. 3 characters are left on LHS and 3 characters are left on right side. Okay, which means that the string is center aligned with the specified width, right? So that simple it is. If you want to produce a proper output for your programs, then use this center alignment also. Okay. The second function is count. So s dot count of the parameter that you need to specify is any substring. What this function, this method returns is it looks for this particular substring you are sending as parameter, and it returns the number of non-overlapping occurrences. You need to remember that. If there are any overlapping occurrences of the substring, it counts only once. Okay. So the number of non-overlapping occurrences of a specified substring is count in the corresponding string. Okay. That number will be returned by this method s dot count. Right. And also you can specify some optional parameters here, start comma end, which specifies from where to where you want to count the number of occurrences of the substring in the specified string. So if you don't want the entire number of occurrences, if you want to focus on a particular part of the string, you can also specify it by using these optional parameters here. Okay. The third function is s dot ends with. S dot ends with specifies a substring as parameter and checks whether this substring is the end of this string yes or not. If so, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. So if the specified substring is at the end of the string, it returns true. Otherwise, the function that method ends with returns false. Okay. The fourth method is s dot find of a substring. That means you will specify a substring as parameter, and this particular method, find method, identifies whether this substring is present in the string or not. If multiple occurrences are there, it returns the first index, the least index of the substring as output. Okay, so returns the lowest index in S where the substring sub is found. That means the first occurrence of the substring will be returned by the method find. The next method is isAlpha, which is called on a string object. S dot isAlpha returns true if the string contains alphabeticals. Okay, either small alphabets or capital alphabets. If it contains alphabets, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Similarly, this method s dot is digit returns true if the string contains digits. If it contains only digits, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Okay. The next function, the next method is very important while solving the real-time problems. It is join method. It takes a sequence of substrings and joins them. That means concatenates them and returns the final string. Okay. So this is how it works. Returns a string which is a result of concatenation of the substrings mentioned in the sequence. Okay. And the separator between elements is going to be yes. You need to observe this. Yes is the string object. So whatever sequence of strings you specify, they will be separated by this yes. Okay. Maybe you don't understand this directly reading the description. I'll show you how it works. Let me go back to the IDLE. Suppose I am using this uh, total dot join of my comma is. Okay. So I'm sending a sequence of strings here, and also I'm calling it on string object total. So the description is these strings are concatenated by separating the total between the strings. Okay. So now let us run this example. Okay, it is showing exactly one argument. Okay, let me create it as a list first. L is equal to my so okay. The problem with this is I have used a list of strings here, but you need to create a list first. So let us create it as a list now. L is equal to, for creating a list, you need to use a square bracket and use any number of strings over creating this list now. Hi, I'm creating two strings as a list now. Then now I will call that total with some spaces on both sides dot uh, join of, specify that sequence of strings L. Now you can see the strings are hi and is. These are the strings available in the sequence L. Now I said that total dot join. That means join the strings in this sequence with this particular string. Okay, so that is how total is becoming the separator between those strings. Now let us say if there are more than two in the corresponding list, what will happen? I'm using three strings now. Okay. Again, I will call that total dot join method and supply that sequence L. You can see now every time this string that we mentioned acts as a separator between the sequence of strings that we mentioned. Okay, so that is how the join method works. You need to practice it carefully. It's not that easy to understand. Okay, so that is how it works. So returns a string. Let us recap that description. Returns a string which is a concatenation of the strings specified as a sequence. And always the separator between the elements of the sequence is the string that you mentioned here. Yes. Okay. The next method is s dot lower. It's a simple method which returns a converted lowercase string. What you need to understand is it will not affect the original string, but s dot lower returns the converted lowercase string as a new object. Okay. The next method is s dot replace. S dot replace of old substring, comma, new substring. So this is the only method which is used to change the original contents of a string. Okay. In other ways, you cannot modify the immutable strings, but the replace method can replace the old substrings, the occurrence of old substrings with the new occurrences of substrings specified. Okay, so returns a copy of S with all occurrences of substring old replaced by new. Okay, and there is an optional argument also which specifies the count. It specifies how many occurrences need to be replaced. We can control that also by specifying that third parameter here, which is optional, not compulsory. Okay, right. The next method is split method, which is called on string object. S dot split of the separator you need to specify. So it returns a list of words in the string, yes, using the separator mentioned as a delimiter of the string. And if separator is not specified, it considers the default white space as a separator. Okay. For example, this is also a very important method you need to understand. The split method you should understand properly. I'll show you how this split works now. Divides the larger strings into set of words. Now let us take a string here. S is equal to. This is a sample string. Okay. So I have defined this yes now. This is a sample string. Now I just want to split the string. S dot split. I'm not mentioning any parameter. Therefore, by default separator is any white space used in the corresponding string. So you can see it. It is returning a list of substrings separated by the white space here. Okay. So whenever you want to get the words from a particular sentence, then you can use this split method. It is going to be very important in text processing. We saw an example earlier also. Okay, so here also we use that same function sentence dot split to get the number of words, list of words from the given sentence. Okay, so it's a very important method. Please practice this more examples on split method. Okay, then there are two more methods. Starts with and strip. S dot starts with of any substring will return true if the corresponding string starts with the specified substring. Otherwise, it returns false. It's very simple to understand. If the string you are calling on starts with the substring, then it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Another important method is strip method. S dot strip followed by the string object simply returns a copy of the string with the leading and trailing white spaces removed. That means if the string contains unnecessary spaces at the beginning and end, you can remove those unnecessary white spaces by using this strip method. So this is going to be a string object. You can remove the white spaces at the start of the string and end of the string by using s dot strip method. Okay. And finally, s dot upper method converts a given string into uppercase string. And always remember that s dot upper will not alter the original string s. Instead, it produces a new string as uppercase string equivalent to the original string. Okay. So you need to understand this point, s dot lower and s dot upper, how they work without changing or altering the original string. Let me show you with a simple demonstration now. Okay, let us create a simple string. S is equal to hello. I'm creating it as hello. Let me take a combination of both capital letters and small letters. It is created. Now I will call s dot lower. You can see the return string contains all the lowercase alphabets, because in original string h is capital, but the converted string is containing all the lowercase letters. But if I print the original string yes, it is still having that capital letter H. So that is what I am saying. S dot lower or S dot upper will not alter the original string. Instead, it returns the converted string as a new string object. That is what you need to understand. Similarly, if you call S dot upper, it also does the same thing. It converts the original string into a new string object with all uppercase letters, but original string will not be altered. It is still having hello with the H capital and the remaining letters as small letters. So that is the thing you need to understand. So what you want to do, if you want to reflect the changes also, let us do it now. I'm doing it as S is equal to S dot upper this time. Now let us check what will happen. If you print yes, it is showing all the uppercase letters. What it means, you call the s dot upper and store the resultant new string back to the original string. Then only the changes will be reflected back on the string. Otherwise, if you just call that method as s dot upper, it will not reflect the changes made to the original string. If you want that changes to be reflected on the original string, this is the syntax. S is equal to s dot upper, or s is equal to s dot lower. Like that, you can use the modified strings. Okay. So these are the methods available on string objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 methods are available. So all of you practice all these methods with their syntaxes and examples. Okay. Now let's move on to a few more examples to understand all of these methods with a clear understanding. We'll start with a simple function, len of s, which returns the number of characters in the given string. Okay, so s is taken, which is initialized at the beginning with a string hi there. You can count the number of characters: 1, 2, 3. Space is also count: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Including this exclamation, there are 9 characters. Therefore, len of s is returning 9 here. Okay. Then s dot center of 11. Always this width must be greater than the original width. Otherwise, the original string will be displayed. S dot center of 11 displays the string with center alignment, taking the remaining spaces equally distributed on left side and the right side. So 2 spaces, 1 space on left side, another space on right side. Okay. So that is how it works. I have shown the examples with IDLE also. Next thing is the count method. S dot count of e. The number of occurrences of this e in the string yes is 2. Okay. So the answer is 2 here. Next method is ends with method. S dot ends with of their exclamation. This is the substring we are checking. Because it ends with their exclamation, it is returning true. And starts with method also shown here. S dot starts with of hi. Yes, it is starting with hi. Therefore, it returns true. Okay, you can check it with other strings also. Ends with and starts with. That may return false from this particular string. Next is s dot find of the it is giving, where it is actually starting. Hi there. You can see the position of that the substring. 0. The string index starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is starting at here. Therefore, the beginning of the index where the substring is found is 3. Okay, so s dot find returns the first occurrence of the substring mentioned here. Next thing is alpha. It returns true if the entire string contains all the alphabets only. But this particular string contains a character, special character also. Therefore, s dot is alpha is returning false. Okay. So ABC in single quotes means that it is a string object. Dot is alpha. I am calling because all the characters in this string is alphabets. It is returning it true. Similarly, 3 to 6 inside the double quotes dot is digit will return true because all the characters inside the string is digits only. Okay. Next thing is I'm just initializing a string here. Words is equal to s dot split. We know the description of split. Split function returns the substrings separated by the white spaces from the original string yes. Okay. So original string is hi there. So s dot split returns a list of strings hi and then there. You need to observe that the there followed by exclamation is returned as a single string because there is no white space separating over here. Okay. So now there are two strings in the words. So split always returns the number of strings separated by white spaces only. You can specify the white space also as the parameter, but here by default it is considered as a single white space. Next thing is calling a join method. We know that join method uses the string to concatenate the sequence of strings available in the parameter here. Words is a sequence of strings that contains two strings, hi and there, and we are concatenating those strings with this space. Therefore, it returns hi space there. Okay, returns a single string by concatenating all the words with this particular string as a separator between those strings. And if I mention a new space here, this is displayed over here with a space. Okay, these are empty strings. Therefore, there is nothing left here. There is no space here. But here I am specifying an empty space. Therefore, a space is clearly observed. Okay. So join function works like that. And the next thing is s dot lower returns a string which is containing all the single case characters. Similarly, s dot upper returns all the characters as alphabetical uppercase characters. S dot replace of I comma O replaces every occurrences of I with this O. Okay. Therefore, in hi there string, there is only one occurrence. Therefore, I is replaced by O. You can see it here. The original string will not be changed. That you need to observe. S is still going to be high there, but if you want to apply the modifications, then S is equal to S dot replace you have to. And finally, high there dot strip. The strip function returns the new string by removing the spaces on left side and right side of the string. Here there are some spaces, so it removes all those spaces and returns the string like this. Okay. So here is a simple explanation about the most important method, split. It returns a list of words. We know this. We already tested it with IDLE also, on which it is applying. It returns a list of words from the string by using a default separator as white space. Okay. But now, what if you want to use other kind of delimiters to identify the list of words? Look at this. I can use a dot to identify the delimiters, to identify the list of words to be separated. So my file dot txt dot split off. I'm specifying dot as a delimiter here. Then what will happen is whenever it identifies a dot, then it considers the sequence of characters before the dot as a substring. So this is a substring. and then this is another substring. Okay. Now my file comma txt as the list of substrings returned by this split method. Similarly, this example shows my file.py dot split of dot. Again, it is returning two substrings here. Okay. So this example, my file.html returns two files, my file comma HTML, and so on. You can use any other delimiters as shown in this example. Okay. And similarly, another point that you need to understand is you can use the substring subscript of -1. Okay, subscript of -1. That means within the angle brackets or square brackets, that will extract the last element in a list. So for example, file name dot split returns a list of substrings, and then if you write this -1, it will extract the last string in the corresponding list. Okay. So for example, file name, if the file name is myfile.html, file name dot split of dot -1 will return HTML. Okay. So you can retrieve the last element from a list anytime by using this negative numbers. Similarly, for -2, it will return the last but one element of the list. So on like that. Okay. Right. So now we have sufficient knowledge about the string manipulation methods, and here are some exercises that we need to solve. Look into this first exercise. Assume that the variable data refers to the string. That means he is giving a variable data. Name of the variable is data, which is initialized to Python rules. That is the string. So data is equal to, this means that data is equal to Python rules. P is capital. Okay. And an exclamatory symbol also. So this is the uh, initialization given in the task. Now, use a string method from the table that we discussed to perform the following tasks. Okay, 4 tasks are given. Obtain a list of the words in the string. So how do you get the list of words in the string? What is the method that you need to call? The method is split. Okay, so you can obtain the list of words from the string by calling the split method on the string. That means the syntax is going to be data.split. By using that, you can get the corresponding list of words from the string. Okay, then how do you convert the string to uppercase? What is the method we need to use? Data.upper. That is the function, that is the method you need to call. Okay, just try to recollect what you learned till now. So this is the method you should call on the data object, data.upper. Okay. Next thing is locate the position of the string rules. That means you want to find out the index. How do you find out the index? By using the find function. Okay. So it returns the index of the first occurrence of the corresponding string. So find of data.find of, you send that substring here, rules. Data.find of rules. That will return the index of the corresponding substring from the string data. And the last task from this exercise 1 is replace the exclamation point with a question mark. So how do you replace a particular character from the string? We have a method called as replace. Okay, so data.replace, you have to call that method. And it expects 2 parameters compulsorily. Mandatory arguments are 2. The first argument is the old character that you want to replace, which is exclamation here. Is given as exclamation. and the new one is question mark. Exclamation has to be replaced by a question mark. That is the task. So you can call like this: data dot replace of exclamation comma question mark. So I've just given the method names here, but the syntax of calling these methods is string object name dot method name. Every time you need to call like that: data dot split, data dot upper, data dot find of rules, data dot replace of exclamation comma question mark. Like that you need to test. So all of you practice this exercise. In ideally, you first initialize the data to the string and then check with these methods whether they are working properly or not. Okay. So here is another exercise, exercise 2, using the same value of data from exercise 1. So it means the string is same. Write the values of the following expressions. So he is giving the expressions now. You need to find out the values. The first question is data dot ends with of I. Is that string ending with I? The string is Python rules exclamation. No, it is not ending with I. Therefore, this should return false. Okay. So you try it with ideally. Just type reinitialize data to Python rules and then call this method data dot ends with of I. It should return false because the string is not ending with I. Okay. The next thing is totally dot Zain of data dot split. So what is the string here? Data is Python rules. Okay. So Python rules is the data. It is split into list of values here. Okay. Now you are joining that list of substrings with this totally. Therefore, the output that is going to be produced should be Python. Okay. This is the first substring in the list. And the second substring is rules, right? From the list. After splitting, you will get this Python rules. And because you are calling giant method with this totally, the separator between these two substrings must be totally. The output should be Python totally rules. This should be the output you are going to get. So you test it again, initialize the data to Python rules, and then call this function totally dot join of data dot split. Data dot split retrieves the list of substrings from the data, and then you apply this join method uh, using this separator totally. So this should be the output you are going to get. Okay. So practice this example also with ideally. Yeah, that's all for today. We have discussed about the basics of strings and the valid string manipulation methods available on string objects. Okay. All of you practice the examples that we discussed in this class with ideally and try to write the corresponding examples with every method that we discussed. Try to practice at least 3 to 4 examples for every method we discussed from the table. Okay. So thank you all for your patient listening. See you in the next class. Thank you.